I will hereby open this meeting of Metro Masters Toastmasters Club.
Hello, welcome everybody. I am the club president, so I'd like to jump right into confirming the agenda and going into club business before we start our speaking portion of the meeting. Our Toastmaster of the day is Artemis Mayat, Wordmaster Bill Moylan. We have two speakers today, myself giving a persuasive speech and our guest, Susan Gordon Jackson, giving a presentation on AI. We have Bill Moylan as a backup speaker. Bill, did you want to present your speech today or shall we wait?
No, it's fine. I can do it today. It's evaluate to motivate.
All right. And so then we have Table Topics. Oh, Table Topics Master was scheduled to be Bill Liverman, so he is out ill today. Is there somebody who would like to jump in and fulfill that role? Oh, Jelena? Okay, great, Jelena. Thank you. Our January general evaluator is going to be Felice Wong. Evaluation.
Yeah, I can be general
Okay.
evaluator.
Our speech evaluators are Anthony Gore will be evaluating my speech, and it looks like we'll have to change this up a little bit. So Artemis will be evaluating Susan Gordon Jackson's speech, and Jelena will be evaluating Bill Moylan's speech. So our Table Topics evaluator is me, and we have an opening for our counter grammarian. So I can do that so that other people don't have to do double duty. We have our time report, Jelena, general evaluator report we've discussed. All right, I think we have a full agenda. Thank you, everybody. For the club business, I want to remind everyone, I'm sure Bill has already sent out emails that we're open to collect dues now for our next period, which will cover the beginning of April through the end of September. Dues are still $10 a month, amounting to $60 for that 6-month period. We don't have any club dues. We do have TLIs that are being presented at other districts. So if you have not gotten your training and would like to complete that, you can get the TLI information. I can send it to you, or you can get it from going to the District 28 website. There's many different TLIs coming up, and we would love for every officer to be trained. We're still working on getting a finalized date and location for our area contest. I would like to ask once again, maybe it was mentioned before, but I don't really have a note of it. So I'm asking who would like to represent our club in the area contests. I already have Artemis, who discussed a little bit earlier today before the meeting that she can represent our club for humorous, but we can send 2 people for humorous and 2 people for the international speech contest. So is there anybody present who would like to represent the club? Anthony, I thought maybe you had volunteered before, but I don't recall if I had that right or wrong.
I did.
Okay.
I could give it a shot.
Okay, Anthony, is there a particular speech or both of them that you want to try?
Let me look through my past speeches and I'll keep you posted.
Okay, great. The area contests are required to be in person. So unfortunately for our out-of-state members, it precludes you from participating because they are going to be in person going forward. Bill Moylan, were you interested in participating as a contestant?
It depends when.
Okay.
I'll be out of pocket for a week in February and again in March. So it's really when.
All right, thank you. Is there any other announcements from the floor before we start the speaking portion of the meeting? All right then, I will turn this meeting over to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Artemis Matt.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Madam President. Welcome to Metro Masters number 9197 International. It is my privilege and pleasure to serve as your Toastmaster of the day. My responsibility as your host is to introduce the participants and to keep the meeting flowing in a timely manner by orchestrating an atmosphere of anticipation, excitement, and edutainment. Are we ready for takeoff? Are we ready for takeoff?
Yes!
Yes.
Okay, good.
Oh,
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take ya. But while we're on the runway, I'd like to verify the agenda again to make sure all members are on board before takeoff. So I have as speaker number one, would that be Toastmaster Karen Baird?
yes.
Okay, speaker number two, would that be Toastmaster Bill Moreland?
No,
Okay.
that will be our guest, Susan Gordon Jackson.
Oh, okay. And she's speaking on AI.
Mhm.
Okay, and speaker number three?
Bill Moylan.
Okay. All right, great. Alrighty, and I have the table topics master. Do we have one?
Jelena.
Okay, Jelena. Okay. And let's see. We have a evaluator for speech number one.
That's Anthony.
Okay, because I didn't hear you when you went over it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Toastmaster Anthony Gore. Evaluator number two is
Evaluator number two is you.
okay, great. Evaluator number three.
Jelena.
Okay, Jelena. All right, next we have the table topics evaluation.
That's
Say
me.
Toastmaster Derek. That'd
That's
be
me.
you.
Mhm.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. All right, we have a timer. Timer.
Jelena.
Okay, timer, Selena. Because I usually go over this myself, my other club, but okay. Grammarian would be
Karen.
okay. All right. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first, first
Word of the
Toastmaster.
day.
Yep.
Yes, but there are three main pillars of a Toastmasters meeting. And the three main pillars are the prepared presentations, the table topics, and extemporaneous speaking. Now, let me go down to the first topic is going to be Word Master, and that is going to be shared by none other than Toastmaster Bill Moreland.
Thank you, Madam
Welcome.
Toastmaster. Does everyone see in the chat? Our word of the day is ostentatious. It's an adjective. It can be attracting or seeking to attract attention, admiration, or envy, often by gaudiness or unnecessary show. To be overly elaborate or conspicuous. Some examples: an ostentatious display of wealth or knowledge, the ostentatious, very large and expensive summer homes of rich industrialists, and the building was not filled with rich, ostentatious people. Madam Toastmaster.
Really love that word. Next, we'll move on to our speaking presentations, which is the first pillar of the Toastmasters meeting. Our first speaker, speaker number one, is Toastmaster Karen Baird, and she will be speaking What's your title?
Intellectual honesty.
Intellectual honesty. And that is from the presentation.
That is a persuasive speaking presentation from Presentation Mastery, level 3.
Oh, okay, awesome. So with the, please help me welcome our speaker number 1, Toastmaster Karen Baird.
Thank you for that wonderful invitation.
Oh, how many minutes is it?
5 to 7.
5 to 7?
Mhm.
Okay, Madam Timer, do you mind explaining the timing rules if we have guests or whatever would like to kind of further understand that? Timing rules for 5 to 7 presentation?
Yes. So in our Toastmasters meetings, we do time ourselves to make sure that we stay on our agenda. It's a very important part of the meeting, knowing when to stay in bounds. So for a 5 to 7 minute speech, I will flash up green when you've hit the minimum, which is 5 minutes, yellow at the midpoint, 6 minutes, and red at the end at 7 minutes. And then there's a 30-second grace period either way.
Oh, awesome. Okay, at this time, I'd like to welcome speaker number 1, Toastmaster Karen Baird.
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, if you are involved in the world today in any way, if you watch the news, if you watch TikTok videos, if you receive email blasts, you are aware that there's a whole lot of stuff going on and a lot of people are sort of butting heads with each other. Today, I want to talk about an aspect of that I haven't heard too much on. I hope my presentation does not sound ostentatious. I am no expert in this field, but I've always felt a commitment to being intellectually honest. I was asked this week, what did I mean by that? And while I gave my explanation, I thought, that would make an excellent topic for Toastmasters. So follow along with me as I share my thoughts on intellectual honesty and fallacies. Whenever you have multiple groups of people, no matter how much they disagree with each other, they always agree on one thing: that the other group is stupid, crazy, and mean. The truth is that everybody has their own bias, their own points of view. But that does not mean that just because you feel it, that makes it right. So let's talk about what is intellectual honesty. Before we begin the fine points, let's at least agree on a baseline of what is desirable and not desirable. Desirable traits in any investigation are going to be honesty and truth. The use of intellect to use decisions on your thoughts, not on your emotions. Using a logical methodology to validate what you're looking at and to understand it, and to come up with some kind of a feeling that you've made a correct and consistent result. Those are desirable. Not desirable, at least in my opinion, are dishonesty and deceptions, non-intellect decisions based purely on emotion, illogic because it results in randomness and chaos, and fallacies. Fallacies, by their very name, they're false, they're failures. So let's, now that we have a baseline of what is desirable and undesirable, look at intellectual honesty. I went for a definition of it on Wikipedia. Here it is. That's a whole lot of words. So I decided, no, I'm going to distill that down, make it a little more bite-sized. So to paraphrase, intellectual honesty, number 1, includes listening without a bias, which is extremely hard to do when we all have biases, but you have to make the effort. You don't give more value to facts just because they align with your viewpoint, and you don't dismiss the things that you don't like. Another part of being intellectually honest is to not mischaracterize, twist, or spin things either for or against your favor, depending on who's saying them. And you want to evaluate the merits of each argument. You want to evaluate merits on the specific cases. So in other words, not broad generalizations. Somebody was wrong once, they're wrong all the time. Somebody was good once, they were good all the time. That's not how intellectual honesty works. You have to evaluate on specifics. But it's not always so easy. So here's an example. Just take a look at that picture. There's two neighbors. They're both complaining to the city about the other neighbor. They both say the other neighbor is rude, noisy, and their visitors are always parking in front of their house. By looking at those two pictures, you might automatically assume that maybe the neighbor on the right is just an ostentatious person who is trying to get one over on their neighbors. Or you might assume the person on the left, look, they don't take care of anything. Maybe they're just a bunch of bums. So you might have a biased view right away based simply on outward appearances. Those are fallacies. So let's talk about what is a few. I mean, there's lots of fallacies. If you want to look them up on the internet, you could probably find a list of 100 different fallacies. But I wanted to cover some of the most common fallacies of people's intellect where they're not really being intellectually honest. Versus ad hominem attacks, where you attack the person instead of the situation or the question. Instead of asking about who's really being noisy and rude and taking parking spaces, you just say, oh, that person's an uneducated jerk and they're a hater. So you're attacking the person, not the question. Red herring, irrelevant information, straw man. That's where you say, you exaggerate. They're ruining the whole neighborhood. Slippery slope. It's a snowball effect that just gets bigger. It'll end in bloodshed, for instance. Appeals to authority. Realtor.com said it'll end this way. Sunk costs. Well, I've already invested so much time and energy into one solution and one frame of mind, I don't want to think of any other. Then there's more. Causal relationships, bandwagons. Everyone agrees with me. So it's hard to step away from those biases and not use those faulty arguments. Why is it so hard? Because we have loyalty to our groups. We have feelings that I've already decided for myself what's right. So anything that doesn't agree with me must be wrong, and I want to deflect that away from me. And sometimes we have paralysis because there's so many choices, we can't decide and we sort of just give up. So what I'm suggesting to you today is to practice intellectual honesty to the best of your ability. Listen without bias. Allow all sides to present their arguments and their evidence. And don't make assumptions based on things that are outside of the current situation. You have to evaluate the merit of the individual case, not other cases, not what's happened in the past, and be willing to admit or accept that both sides may have valid or invalid points. And number one, in my mind, is realize that all people and all groups have biases, and some of them thrive on pushing your buttons. So try to remain cool, try to remain calm, and listen for the truth, listen for what has merit, and then you can take that one step closer to intellectual honesty. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. That was very spicy presentation. You could apply that to, guess, any everyday situation. Moving on to our next speaker, number 2, will be Susan Gordon Jackson. Susan Gordon Jackson. She will be sharing with us some information on AI. Please help me welcome Susan Gordon Jackson.
Hello, Toastmasters. I am just excited to be here today, and I'm going to talk to you about leveraging AI tools for Toastmasters. And this is going to help you in your speech preparation and your delivery. We are going to discover how AI-powered tools can enhance your speech and preparation. So to give you a little bit of understanding about myself, I am a certified AI consultant. I used to actually work with Karen at Blue Cross Blue Shield and Blue Care Network. And then I went on to Ascension Health for the last 15 years, but I've been retired and now I am a certified AI consultant. I received my certification last year. And being in tech my entire career, AI tools just became kind of interesting to me, and I wanted to learn more about them because they are what is the word? Ostentatious. And
Right.
yeah, so they have an elaborate display of intelligence. So the AI tools that we are going to talk about, it's going to show you how personalized coaching, take you into personalized speech coaching. And I apologize for this font. It's called April or something, and it keeps popping up. So I have to go in and edit it. But so yeah, it's going to show you how you can have personalized speech coaching, content generation. It can assist with research, outlining and generating compelling speech content. You can do your rehearsals for your presentation, and it can provide insights to audience engagements and realistic and reaction to helping Toastmasters optimize their speeches. Here's this font again. I'm really sorry about that. So for AI-powered research, the AI-driven search engines and natural language processing can efficiently research topics. For instance, I don't know if you all use ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, any of those AI tools, you can research your topics in there, whereas before you might used to just use Google or something. And it'll give you all the information because it has everything, every word ever created, are in these large language models for you to do your research. AI assistant outlining. You can create your speech outlines. You can give it your full text and just say, give me the outline, organize this content, or structure your presentation in a logical, engaging manner. And then you can explore AI-powered content for generation tools to assist in drafting introductions, stories, and conclusions. So anything you want your speech to do, these AI tools can do it. So here we go again using the tools for research and voice analysis. There's tools that can actually tell you your delivery. It can tell you to speed up or remove words that are used more than once. And the idea should be streamlined. And so here we go again with your speech preparation, your delivery, and it can provide personalized feedback. It can tell you whether your speech, your performance, and it can address your unique strengths and weaknesses. So using these tools can boost your confidence for the Toastmasters and provide you with tools and insights to continually improve your public speaking. Plus, it's a big time saver because now you can just go to a couple of AI tools and get everything you need for your speech. And of course, you don't just use whatever it gives you. You have to make sure it's not hallucinating, giving you information that isn't true or not what you want. So you give it an idea, you prompt it with what you want, and then you kind of form your own speech and let it perfect it for you. So getting started, utilize tools like ChatGPT 3 to generate speech outlines. You leverage AI-powered speech analysis, interact with assistants to practice your speech, receive feedback. You could integrate AI-powered presentation tools and attend AI-focused workshops if those are available for you for your speech preparation and delivery. So ChatGPT, this is your brainstorming power. If you want to generate topics, outlines, quotes, anything about your speech subject, you can go here. You can craft your introductions, your table topic support, and you can stay authentic. Always verify that the AI generated content is accurate and that it reflects your personal voice. And you can do that by creating your own persona within the AI tool, setting it up with your bio, your resume, different speeches you've written, let it understand your content, your delivery, and your background. And so when you ask for its help, it will be better able to assist you. So here's a AI tool called Yodlee, and it's a speech coach for real-time feedback. So it can give you analysis, it tracks your filler words, your pacing, your eye contact, body language, personalized involvement, delivers suggestions to enhance clarity, and it's trusted by over 300,000 professionals. And you can practice your speeches privately at your home. And I went out and looked at this tool, and it has a free account that you can use. And of course, it's not as robust as the one you pay for, but this is the page that comes up. What can I help you with? What are you looking for? So, of course, I would select upcoming speech or presentation, and it would help me with my pacing, my consciousness, and my eye contact, things like that. So then Yodlee, I don't know how to say this, but Yodlee, you can practice this at home. It connects to your microphone and your camera. Give your 45-second elevator pitch to see your speaking baseline metrics. So that's something you can do, and this is free also. And Speak Aura, this is streamlining feedback and voting in AI. So this is one of the tools that the Toastmasters could use. I'm not sure if you use this or not, but it's for your meeting management, gives you feedback, voting results, and analysis, and efficient club operations. So this is another summary of what Speak Aura can do. Sounds very powerful and just really can perfect whatever you're trying to accomplish. Smart Talk to Me. This serves as your personal language coach, providing real-time feedback on your English speaking. So this is actually good for if English isn't your first language, it can prepare you for speaking engagements. And it includes mock interviews and speaking drills to build confidence and fluency. So here's when you go into the tool. I went into it today, and it gives you this information: products, programs, business, schools, and it also has a free account that you can use. Best practices for using AI. Maintain authenticity. This AI is a supportive tool. It's not a replacement for your unique voice, your creativity, or your personal experiences. Your story matters the most. So you have to balance AI with human input. You combine the AI feedback with live audience evaluations and well-rounded improvement. Human connection remains irreplaceable. So you integrate early and often, support incorporating AI in speech preparation, practice sessions, and meeting roles from day one for maximum long-term benefit. So by harnessing the power of AI, Toastmaster members can elevate their speech preparation and deliver it to new heights. You can embrace the transformative potential of AI-powered tools and unleash your full potential as a confident, engaging public speaker. So embrace AI, elevate your speaking journey, lead the future. The future of public speaking is here to be among the pioneers who lead the way. Okay, and then here are just some prompts. You know, it's always the most important thing with using any AI tool is your prompting. So you have to be able to know how to get the information you want. So here's a couple of prompts you could use. You could feed it your speech, upload it, and say, give feedback on this speech. Is it clear or is it engaging? And then you could follow up with a prompt that you would say, suggest 3 ways to improve the opening, highlight any filler words or weak transitions. I know I had to give a speech this past summer, and it had to be like a 2-minute acceptance speech. And I had written it out, and it's probably about 3.5 minutes. So I fed it to ChatGPT. I said, make this 2 minutes, and it did exactly 2 minutes. Hooks, titles, and storytelling. So you can brainstorm some ideas about that. Grammarian, you can get the word of the day straight from your AI tool, and your table topics as well. So meeting role support. The evaluator can say, create a structured evaluation template for a prepared speech. And then, of course, for visual aids and Zoom or slides, you can take your bullet points. There's really great presentation AI tools like Gamma and Beautiful. Those are 2 tools that you can just feed it text or just a single sentence and say, you know, give me my PowerPoint slides from this, and it will. So, of course, you can do your speech writing and rewriting with some ideas around this. Make this humorous. Give me a powerful closing line. I mean, these are just great tools to use. So this is the conclusion of my speech. I hope you have learned how to use some new AI tools today, and you can have fun playing with them. And the key is to practice, practice, practice. Thank you.
Please unmute.
Oh, there we are. Thank you very much. AI is not going away. It is here to stay. So thank you very much for sharing your presentation. My next speaker is speaker number 3, Toastmaster Bill Moreland, and he will be sharing with us from the Successful Club series, Evaluate to Motivate. In how many minutes? 5 to 7 minutes?
No, this is a 10 to 12.
Oh, this is a 10 to 12 presentation. Please help me to welcome Toastmaster Bill Moreland. Evaluate to Motivate.
Thank you, everyone. And before I begin, can you see my presentation? And can you see me? Good, very good. I had a little technical difficulty. I normally have the one set up over here. Well, my big screen died on me, so don't ask. So I had to quickly log on to my university computer, and we'll see how well I do. But good evening, everyone. The more effective we are in evaluating each other, the more each of us will profit from the experience. And this could be whether we're delivering a speech, evaluating, or just sitting in the audience. For audience members, we learn from the good example an effective evaluation presents. For evaluators, we learn to sharpen our listening and impromptu listening skills. So, as speakers, we benefit by the following. We get immediate feedback. Supportive commentary and helpful suggestions reinforce positive speaking behaviors, as well as assisting and focusing on areas that need work, offering methods for improvement. An evaluator can offer a new perspective. This perspective will allow the presenter to recognize and then solve any difficulties within the presentation. And lastly, it builds and maintain self-esteem. As the presenter's speaking improves from speech to speech, more self-esteem will be gained. If I can get, there we go. Just a moment, my other one is not working. There we go, I need my script. Okay, so there is one way of evaluating by the tell and sell approach. The evaluator talks and the speaker listens. Now, this requires the evaluator to do all the talking while the speaker listens. It makes the meeting more efficient, leaving no time for conversational digression, and allows the speaker to focus on what is being said. And here's a tip. New members should not evaluate until they've conducted several speeches. Within Pathways, there is the Evaluate and Review project where we give a speech, it gets evaluated and get the feedback, we present it a second time, and that evaluator will mark where we had improved, and then we evaluate. So it is built within the Pathways program. Now, how to evaluate effectively? Now, giving an evaluation is an effective way to demonstrate the skills that you are learning as a Toastmaster. Now, there are 5 basic points to remember when offering evaluation. The first, before the speech, we talk with the speaker about their particular project objectives and the evaluation guidelines, and ask any concerns regarding the speech or the speaker's speaking ability. So we look at manual objectives, we look at the evaluation guidelines, and any other concerns. And then during the speech, we demonstrate that we are truly interested in the speech. This is by putting ourselves in position of the speaker, and we take good notes. Now, how to evaluate effectively? First, during the evaluation, we personalize our language. We put ourselves in position of the speaker. We say words like, you didn't, you should have, you failed to. Next, we evaluate the speech and not the speaker. We truly want to promote self-esteem. Some of these words we can be using. It's instead of saying you didn't, or you should have, or you failed to do, we should use, I believe, my reaction was, I suggest that. For instance, we shouldn't say you were way too soft. You couldn't be heard. You should say, I had a hard time hearing you, and I was sitting in the back of the room. That's as opposed to putting them on the piece. The thing of evaluating the speech and not the speaker, that is a way of keeping the main points in mind, that we are really about helping and encouraging the speaker. Pay attention to their goals for self-improvement, especially how well they complied with the speaking requirements. We do not make ostentatious comments. I remember in 2 different speeches I've given over my time with Toastmasters, this is the worst speech you ever gave. A little blunt. We like it when you come out from behind the lectern. Engage with the audience. Be personable. Don't be so strict. You read the speech. You looked just straight ahead. It seemed like you were giving a news story on TV. This actually happened to me. Now, here is the aside. It was from the old Competent Toastmaster Manual, speech number 9. The project, presenting on television. You're supposed to have a well-researched, newsworthy topic. Read from a script. Look straight ahead at an imaginary TV camera, and the timing was to be 8 minutes plus or minus 15 seconds just on it. Afterwards, the Toastmaster came up with some, gee, Bill, you gave me this introduction and I didn't read it. And I said, well, yes. And then the evaluator really didn't read the project or what I was trying to do. I told the club president I was going to be doing this. He thought it would be fun to see how well I could do it when they kind of changed the entire room setup. Now, having been a Toastmaster for some years, I took it in stride. But there is one comment I'd like to make, and that is, I heard this at a training one time for being the program quality director. Every one of our club members is 2 bad evaluations away from leaving. So avoid being disingenuous. What we should not be doing is giving flowery, or they call it whitewash language. Another, we can praise a speaker, might be flattering at first, but over time, this really demoralizes a club when there's obvious areas where could be improved. An honest and frank evaluation can be upbeat and encouraging, and we can still point out areas for improvement. And avoid covering up flaws for adulation. So we have to be open and honest, but we can still be friendly and supportive. So in closing, we have to connect to our opening statement. It was, a speech that Karen gave. It was on here's your title and your piece, and go back to that. We summarize our key points. Maybe a personal story example, like Susan did with the artificial intelligence. Gee, this really helped me at my company that we are now having, and encourage the listeners to apply what they heard and learned. So we improve for the speaker, the audience, and most of all, the evaluator. As I said, not to be too ostentatious here, but every member is just 2 bad evaluations away from leaving any club. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you for that speech. It was very crucial, very needed. Next, we move on to our second segment or pillar of our Toastmasters meeting, and that would be table topics or extemporaneous speaking. And nothing strikes fear into the heart and creates turbulence quite like speaking at a moment's notice. Am I right? Am I right?
You're right.
All right. Well, table topics, we will begin with introducing our table topics master, which will be Toastmaster Jelena Jerkler. She will explain to us the rules of the table topics. It is a 1 to 2 minute response from what well, I'll let her explain that. Toastmaster Jelena Jerkler.
Thank you, Artemis. Yes, so we will be practicing our extemporaneous speaking off the cuff. We don't know the topics ahead of time, so we all have to be brave. Table topics usually has some sort of theme if you like to get fun with it, or it can be completely random. Today, I have picked a theme regarding kind of the general vibes and mood. I think that we've all kind of alluded to here and picked up on. So I am going to ask questions about how you all are dealing with all of this, how you're getting through, how you're supporting each other, and how you are cultivating joy and hope. So with that, you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I am also the timer, so I will light up green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. First, I would like to ask our guest speaker, Susan, would you be willing to take a table topic?
Yeah, but I will.
Was that a yes? Sorry.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't want to go first.
All right, I will come back to you. Anthony, will you go first? You're on mute.
Oh,
Will you take the question?
yeah, can you repeat the
Okay.
question?
Anthony, who taught you what courage looks like? Who taught you what courage looks like?
That's a good question, type of topic. Table topic, Madam Table Topic. Who taught me courage? I would say in my time of teaching in the classroom, my students were able to teach me courage. A lot of students that I encountered during my time, they had a lot of challenges along the way. Some were faced with homelessness, some were faced with parents that were strung out on drugs and um, different financial and being in disenfranchised communities. So all of those different challenges, students taught me courage day in and day out. How they were resilient throughout their given situation and how they persevered. I learned courage from my students. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know that was a little bit of a hard one, but I'm glad you took that on. Susan, I have an easier one for you. I would like to know what's something small that's helped you get through a hard week lately? What's something small that's helped you get through a hard week lately?
Something small that's helped me get through a hard week is that I felt a need to increase my spirituality recently. And so I joined an international Bible study group called Bible Study Fellowship. And every Wednesday we meet on Zoom and we study a different scripture chapter. And there's a lot of notes you have to read and then answer questions and be prepared for the meeting on Wednesday. And so that's helped me get through the week because I can stay focused on something that's going to uplift me and give me hope and joy. And then to discuss this with other people who are doing the same thing gets me through. It's a small thing, but it gets me through the week pretty good. So, and then we have people from all over the world actually in my class. And, to listen to some of the struggles they go through. Like this one lady, they were having elections in her country. I think it was Botswana, and they cut off their internet. So she had no internet, so she couldn't even join the meeting one week because that's what they do in elections. They just shut everybody down. And to me, that's devastating that you have a government like that. So that got me through the week. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. We just had a woman from Ghana join us the other day. It was around 12:30 a.m. her time. But she was like she was a pastor, a preacher, not sure, but was doing work globally. So it's really cool that you found that. My next question is for Felice. What do you want the future to look like, or what do you hope the future looks like?
Thank you for that question, topics master. What do I hope for the future? So, well, I am I don't know. I am usually a optimistic person, so I kind of look on the brighter side of things at most of the case. But then when we talk about future in a very broad scale like this, I don't know, for some reason I am not that optimistic. So so I was born in 1990. So that was the time, and I was born in China. And if you know some more history about China, that was the time when the country take off basically. So I've seen like tremendous growth of the country, of everyone around me. Like my parents have, like my parents' generation, they have grown so much in how much they make, as in how much money they make every month and what they can do, and all the technology kind of exploded in the past 3 decades. And now, kind of at this time, since I don't know, the past couple years or so, things are not as good, as promising as that time before, and it's kind of unstable. And I have the feeling that future is not going to be as smooth as I have seen before in my childhood. Everything is not going to be going up. Sometime that's like the society. I do hope that it can stay up for as long as I live, I guess, and for everyone else that I know live. But I feel like at some point it's gonna dip down a little bit, and I feel like I need to be prepared for that. I don't know if that probably doesn't answer the question of what do I hope for the future, but that's what I feel like the future looks for me, at least if I'm looking at like 30, 50 years in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Felice. I think it's a skill sometimes to flip a table topic to an answer that you would like to give. So I think instead of saying what you hope the future looked like, you told us what you anticipated the future to look like, which I think is also very helpful. And some people will say, you know, don't be a doomer and gloomer, but I'm a public health person, so I like to be prepared. Hopefully it doesn't happen that way, but I will be prepared regardless. I have one more question for Karen. Where do you see people choosing kindness despite everything? Where do you see people choosing kindness despite everything?
Madam Table Topics Master, when you get at the heart of the matter, who are the most important people? Who are the most important people in your life? It's your family, it's your close friends. It's those people who are going to be with you through thick and thin. And so when you think about the things that do pull people apart, I think about within my own family, we have big political differences, we have differences of religion, we have differences of, let's say, gender identities. Do I want my family pulled apart so that each person becomes their own individual flotsam out there in the ocean? We don't communicate with each other anymore because we can't agree on every little thing? No, 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 no. We pull together because what we have is more important and stronger. Our relationships are more important and stronger than the things that are happening around us in society that we're being asked to pick sides and be in opposition. But when you come down to the heart of the matter, people who you love, people who are important to you, they're more important than all those other external forces that are trying to drive people into their different camps. Because it's much easier to tear something down than to build something up. So to me, the most important thing is to have kindness, forgiveness, acceptance, tolerance, and mostly love among those people who are most important to you. Madam Topics Master.
Thank you. Some sage words from you today. And I will now turn it back over to our Toastmaster of the day, Artemis. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we move on to our third pillar of our Toastmasters meeting, which is evaluations and feedback, and the team that goes along with that. I will introduce for our first evaluator for speech number 1, which Anthony Gore will be evaluating Toastmaster Karen Baird's speech. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Anthony Gore.
Alrighty, so Karen, your
Oh,
speech on
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I failed to mention that the evaluation portion of the meeting is 2 to 3 minutes in which they will share the feedback. Madam Timer, could you please share the timing signals for 2 to 3 minutes?
Yes, for 2 to 3 minutes, I will light up green at 2, yellow at 2 minutes and 30, and red at 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Toastmaster Gore.
yes. So Toastmaster Karen, yours your persuasive speech on intellectual honesty. First and foremost, you had a great opening. You did a great job at setting the stage. You used the word of the day twice that I heard. Your topic was great. Um, you really gave a descriptive definition as far as intellectual honesty. You want the desirables, you want people to listen, don't dismiss, don't twist words or spin, and evaluate on merit. So all of these different things, it could be applicable to today as far as social media, everywhere we get contact or content. There's so much misinformation out there, but if you apply these different tips, you can definitely get a non-biased answer to things that you want. And me, I am very intrigued on the news with media, with current events. So I will definitely use this intellectual honesty to apply when I receive different content. Your presentation had great content. You had great examples, especially with the different common fallacies. So you overall gave great tips for us to follow. One thing I would challenge you with would be just to use more gestures throughout your speech. But overall, great speech. You stayed within the time frame of 5 to 7 minutes. And overall, I would use these tips when evaluating media and content. But thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gore. For our next evaluator, number 2 would be myself, evaluating our guest speaker, Susan Gordon Jackson, on AI. I really appreciate that information, and a lot of people fear it. It's like, I'll have none of that. No, I don't trust it. I don't know what's going on, and is it going to just take over um, everyone's jobs? So there's a lot of fear. And thank you for showing us that it can be more a help than a harm. You gave us a lot of different examples. I really liked your presentation with power supplies are always a thumbs up. You can't go wrong with them. Um, Better decision making, um, the new capabilities that AI brings, um, the voice assistants, and who it's like, wow, Udily. Toastmaster Karen had been showing us that for, wow, a few times. And I never really thought that that was AI, but I guess that is a form of AI. There's just so many key benefits that you showed us that AI handles everyday jobs, helps businesses with efficiency and productivity. It also enhanced customer experience. But I'm just thinking about calling some of these companies, and they have the AI blocking you like one of those gate guards. You can't get through. I'm like, my TV is off. I have no TV. Press 9. Maybe I can help you. That's the only thing that drives me crazy about AI is they won't let you get to a person. I'm like, a person, a human being. But other than that, this is a wonderful tool. And I like what you said too. And you said that you have to be very careful because you have to use it for positive. and you have to put your own little flair and taste into it rather than it just letting it do the whole thing. I was really amazed by creating table topic questions for you and PowerPoint slides. It's like, whoa. I guess Siri and Alexa, that would be part of the AI virtual assistants part of it. The only thing that I could say as far as taking it to the next level is to put more vocal variety into it, and your voice was a tad bit low. You could just kind of increase the volume in your voice. Um, More preparation, like you said, practice, practice, practice. But I think that it would be exceptional if you learned this and kept practicing it so that when you presented it, everything would be just the way you want it to be. So practice, practice, practice until you know it like the back of your hand. That would be it. Thank you. Next, we will move on to the, what is this? I counter grammarian. I counter grammarian.
Excuse
And that,
me, I think we missed the third evaluation.
oh, Lord, thank you so much. Our next evaluator for speech number 3 is going to be Toastmaster Jelena Ferkler.
No, excuse me.
Yes.
I think we need the evaluation of the table topics.
Oh, does that come next?
Yes, they don't need to evaluate this because it was a canned presentation from Toastmasters, and
Mm-hmm.
the slides as well as the script. I added a little bit into it, but
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Well, so we won't need to introduce the speaker number 3 then. We will go on to the table topics evaluations. Toastmaster Karen Barrett.
Hello, hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I want to recognize that we did have another guest join our meeting, Achechi, and I want to welcome you and ask that you put your contact information into the chat so that we can follow up with you later. With that,
Yep.
thank you. So with that, I will go on to our table topics evaluation. Now, for the sake of our guests, I want to explain that table topics evaluation is something that's very exclusive to our club. Most clubs, actually, I've never seen another club do it, but we wanted additional opportunities to get feedback and evaluations. So that's what we're doing here with table topic evaluations. I'm going to start with Anthony. You spoke about where do you receive courage? And when I heard the question, I immediately, of course, went back to my childhood, but you took it in another direction. You talked about a more current experience where you have picked up courage, picked up that courageous theme from students who are resilient in their current state, and that gave you more basis for your courage to step forward. I thought that was a very interesting take because we sometimes think that, all that is formed in our youth and that we can't learn as we grow forward, but you're learning from the youth, and I think that's great. I like the way you presented that concept. If I was to give you any suggestions for your table topic, I'd just like to see you just make it, since it's a little mini speech, give it a little bit more of a conclusion, pow, at the end. Susan Gordon Jackson, you were brave. You took a table topic. We appreciate it. We love it when our guests take table topics. And you were asked what small thing got you through a hard week. And you spoke about the Bible study fellowship group that you recently joined. And what I liked about your response is that you came to a focus point. You didn't hem and haw around with 5 different things. You came to a focus right away. And you also gave specific examples of how joining that group helped you get through that hard week. So I appreciate that you gave a focused answer. You gave specific examples. That's just how you should approach a question like this. So I'm not going to give you any suggestions for improvement. I'm just going to say thank you, and you did a great job. We appreciate the bravery you had on stepping forward. Of course, I didn't evaluate myself. I leave that to others. Felice, you were asked about hope for the future. And Jelena, you took my little comment away from me that you did a turn of this, what they call like a turn of the screw. You changed it into what you anticipate for the future, but you did that based on the history leading up till now. You gave a retrospective, and then from the retrospective, you gave us a look at the future. And that's what, when I'm teaching my young students, we call the past, present, future model of responding to a table topic. So you gave that past, the present, and the future look, which is a great way to answer a question because you put it within a framework and a time framework. I like how you talked about that you were and what you anticipate, but what I would suggest if you're using that framework is to give us a little bit more of an example in that final step. You gave us examples of the past and the present, but you need a little bit of example for the future. You said you were prepping. What are you doing? How are you prepping? So that would be something you could improve upon the next time you do a similar type table topic. Thank you for this opportunity to present my feedback.
Thank you very much. Now we'll go on to the helpers, and that would be our counter grammarian. And the counter grammarian improves observation and listening skills, vocabulary, grammar, critical listening. I would like at this time to welcome our counter grammarian.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to serve as an counter grammarian today. The word of the day was ostentatious. I like 4-syllable words. Thank you for that, Bill. Speaker Jelena, I counted one instance of you saying, that's pretty darn good, isn't it? One instance. Susan Gordon Jackson, I'm going to go easy on you, Susan. I'm going to tell you that you had more than 5 instances of saying, and that is your favorite crutch word. You used you know and so a couple times, but I heard you use the word of the day. Thank you for that. That was great. You just jumped right in on the bandwagon with this one. Bill, I heard you use the word of the day twice, but I've picked up a new filler word for you, and that is the word now. I heard you say that word now as a filler word. It's not really a transition word, so let's keep your ears open for that. Artemis, I heard you do 5 instances of ahs, ums, but it's always when we're doing off the cuff, right? So it was when you were doing the evaluation. It wasn't a prepared speech. It's when you're doing the off the cuff speaking that the ahs and ums come out. But I also really liked at the beginning of the meeting, you sung us into being, and I really liked that. Thank you. Anthony, I wrote down 3 instances of which is such a vast improvement from where you started. So I applaud that and recognize that. Felice, I heard a couple of ahs, ums, and then I heard a crutch word that you used, like. When I hear the word like, it reminds me very much of my children who were born in the 1990s. That seemed to be a favorite word for kids in that age group, isn't it? Like. So just keep your ears open for that word. I don't know if anybody else used the word of the day. If anybody else used it and I missed it, I apologize for that. I heard some very good grammar and vocabulary words. I didn't get a chance to write them all down. I appreciate vocabulary and I appreciate good pronunciation. So with that, I will return to our Madam General Evaluator.
All right, thank you. Our next helper is the timer. And taking on that role improves our time management skills, teaches us to express thoughts within a specific time interval. Toastmaster Berkeley, please give us a timing report.
Thank you. For my timers report today, we had our first speaker, Karen, in 7 minutes and 45 seconds, our guest speaker, Susan, for 12 minutes and 3 seconds, and our beloved DTM master, Bill Moylan, in 9 minutes and 17 seconds. For table topics, everyone hit the mark. Anthony in 1 minute and 3 seconds. Susan, the brave, in 1 minute and 24 seconds. Felice in 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And Karen in 1 minute and 48 seconds. For the evaluations, Anthony gave his in 1 minute and 50 seconds. Artemis in 3 minutes and 16 seconds. And Karen gave very detailed feedback with our club exclusive table topics evaluation in 3 minutes and 39 seconds. And that will conclude my timers report.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. Excellent. Awesome sauce. At this time, I'd like to thank everyone for your participation and camaraderie. We have safely landed. I return control to Madam President.
Thank you.
Here.
Thank you
We
so
have
much,
the
Dr.
general
Amos.
evaluation portion.
Oh, there's a general evaluation?
Yes.
Did I miss something? I've got this printed out so small, I don't see anything. I didn't know there was a general evaluation.
After the timers report, there's general evaluation by Felice.
Oh, my apologies. I really need to do better. At this time, I'd like to call on the general evaluation portion of the meeting.
Yeah, thank you all for the great club meeting today. We have, as a general evaluator, I will talk through the meeting as a whole, evaluate the timing, transition, and the structure and teamwork of the meeting. So our meeting started a few minutes past the 6 p.m. We had to fill the roles, make sure all the roles are have someone agreed to take on, and that took us a couple of minutes. I think we could. One thing is that we have already been trying to do is we are trying to fill the roles before the meeting, and the other thing is I don't know if this will help, but I actually have the website open on the on my screen, and I can look at it. And when things are changing, I think maybe we can the president or the Toastmaster of the day can go ahead and make the change on the website at the time. So then when the change is made, it's finalized and everyone else can see it. So that's probably gonna help a little bit of the flow of the each session of the meeting. And we actually, yeah, we had the word of the day, and then 3 great speakers. I really learned a lot of things, new things, and very informative speeches we've had today. And then the table topics was also very, very thought-provoking questions, and I really appreciate that. And our evaluation portion also went very well and in the details. So overall, I think we've had a great meeting today.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I need to apologize too because I think you were earlier. I just need to apologize and do better. So should have introduced you a little bit earlier as well.
Don't worry about it.
This time I'd like to return control to our president, Toastmaster Baird.
Thank you. Thank you all. And I want to ask our guests, I'm going to, since we've already heard from Susan earlier in the meeting, I'm going to ask Uchechi if you would like to give us any feedback or thoughts on this meeting. How did you hear about us, and did you like what you saw?
Definitely. So I wanted to join the meeting just to improve my public speaking and just speaking in general, speaking more clearly and getting my message across, whatever it is, whenever I speak. I really learned a lot in this meeting. It was very informative. Just getting pointers on speaking. I thought the AI tools were really helpful. I'll definitely take a look at those. And I also thought that the other presentations were really helpful as well. I think I caught some of the intellectual, um, was it
Intellectual honesty.
honesty? Yes. Yes, that was really helpful and really informative just generally. I enjoyed the presentations.
Thanks, Uchechi. We'll be sending you some by email. We'll be getting in contact, sending you some more information. Of course, you're welcome to come back, visit our club or join our club.
Definitely.
Visit in the future. We'd love to have you. And now I'll ask Susan about your experience here today. How do you think it went? And is there anything that you'd like to comment on?
Like the fluidity of it and how it just flowed, each part and everyone knew what their role was. And the speeches, everyone, was prepared that I heard. And I just thought everything went well. It reminded me of, speaking is an art. And there are a lot of things you got to remember when you do it. So this was very helpful for me as I give presentations on AI. This particular presentation, I just kind of pulled it together, today. And so I didn't have a lot of time to practice on it, but so I figured that, I got some things to work on. So thank you for the feedback.
Susan, it was a pleasure. Because I've known Susan from long ago, I really am grateful to see you. I love seeing you here today, and I appreciate you taking the time to come today. And for those who don't know, I don't just know Susan from Blue Cross. She hired me at Blue Cross, and I was there for 21 years. So thank you for that, Susan.
Yes,
Nice.
glad you were.
Yeah, I had my retirement. So
Yeah.
here we go. All right. Is there any other club business questions or discussion? Bill?
Yes, thank you. Tonight I gave that presentation from the Successful Club series. If you go into Pathways, you'll notice they've now added for us to do different meeting roles. And I'm on the engaging humor level 5 even though I got the speeches done, I've got some club activities. That was one of them. So I ask each of you to go in and check because it wants you to be a speaker, an evaluator, a grammarian, all the different roles you can now get credit for within Pathways. So something just to be aware of.
Yeah, that was an old school way. Good.
I had one thing I wanted to share as well. So I was preparing to evaluate you, Bill, even though I know you said that this didn't require an evaluation. I actually felt like my evaluation was being preemptively evaluated before I even began. So it was a little nerve-wracking.
Okay.
But one of the things that you said is to tell a story or something that shows that you integrated what they spoke about and thought about it and so when you were talking about evaluating, I actually had a conversation with my husband Tom, who I may have spoken about a few times on here, and he said, your feedback to me always skews negative. Why can't you give me one of those nice evaluations like you give your Toastmasters? And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so true. I work so hard here to be very positive and encouraging and give people really helpful feedback, but I don't put that level of intention into my personal relationships when really the skills that we learn here are helpful in all of our communication. So just wanted to put that out there in case anybody else didn't really make that connection like I did, but
Well,
yeah.
thank you, Jelena, because as an instructor, professor, when I share with people, gee, Bill, you're already a good speaker. Why are you involved in Toastmasters? I said, it's all about the evaluations, being able to give effective, positive, encouraging. because let's face it, the professor at the beginning of the room, we got all the power. I can flunk somebody. Yeah, that's really helpful, isn't it? It's supposed to be pointing out what they did well. Here's some tips on how to improve it. Because a student puts a lot of effort into it. And I did see when I was an undergrad how this one dean was able to evaluate architectural students doing their presentations. And they've worked hours on it, and how he was able to be encouraging and helpful and pointed, on it. And you could see it on their faces how they wanted to come back and do better. And so I think that is one thing. Lastly, I'll say that the more you're in Toastmasters giving evaluations, you become your own best critic. And so we can all do the self-evaluation. But thank you, Jelena. So tell your husband he's doing a hell of a great job.
I'm gonna go give him a sandwich down there.
Yes, there you go.
But that also speaks to, I think, being a great evaluator is an underrated skill as a leader. The ability to motivate as well as give constructive feedback. I think that's a really important aspect of being a leader.
Yes.
I think that was the biggest thing that I never expected out of Toastmasters that I learned was evaluating how to give feedback. At one point, for instance, when I was working at BCN IT, one of my coworkers got promoted to being a manager. So I took him aside and I said, listen, you're a manager now. I have some feedback for you. It wasn't so important when you were a coworker, a peer, but now that you're a manager, here's some things you might want to think about when you're interacting with your staff. And I told him a few things that I had observed, and coming about it that way, he was grateful. He was glad I took the time to talk to him, and I felt good about it because I learned how to do that in Toastmasters. I never corrected Susan.
I think the overall thing is that it's never ending. You're always going to learn something new, even if you go over it 100 times.
That's true.
So always this is something that I still, got to do my time and make sure that it's 5 to 7 minutes, not 7 minutes. And, so I gotta, it's just, I'm still learning, and I just I gotta get better. I gotta prevail. I just gotta do better.
Thank you, Artemis. I think that if you open your ears and listen and accept those evaluations, again, I'm going to pull back my own speech, the intellectual honesty. If you can accept that you're getting feedback as somebody else sees you and heard you, that's good feedback. That's always good, because you're getting an insight into how you are perceived. Maybe you didn't agree that you were coming across that way, but they're giving you their feedback. So, and I want to give Artemis a little shout out too, because a couple of years ago, she told me 2 or 3 times that my introductions were very boring. And then my conclusions were also boring, that I didn't have energy. I didn't have energy at the start, and I didn't have energy at the end. And I worked so hard on that because of your feedback. So I just want to say I appreciate it. You've been a Toastmaster a long time. I have too, but there's always room to grow if you're willing to listen and accept the feedback. That's why I liked Anthony's table topic, because he's learning still from his students, and it's a lifetime journey. Are there
I can't believe I said that.
Yes, you did. You said start with a pow and end with a wow. And
wow.
I took that to heart because I realized you were so right. My intros and my conclusions were pretty low energy flat. So I said, okay.
I can't imagine that. I think you have humor. I really enjoy when you speak. I cannot believe it. This is man. I said that.
Put me on the path, lady.
Wow.
Are there any more questions or points of discussion before we close out the meeting?
I have a quick story to share about using AI. So I think it was last meeting, I was evaluating a speech. I think it was for Jelena. And there was a form that I need to fill out at the end of the evaluation. Because I was at the meeting, I gave my oral evaluation and I kind of touched on all the points that is required for that form. I feel like I don't want to go over the whole thing, like write down all my comments one by one. It was a couple days after the meeting anyways, and my memories are not as fresh. So I actually used the Google Gemini. I sent the form to it and I sent our YouTube video link for the presentation. And I find out the time, it was like 40 something minutes through 50 minutes, something like that. My evaluation, like for that, I don't know, 2 minutes. I sent that time and the YouTube link to Gemini, and I said, fill this form for me, basically, based on what I said. So it did. And I looked at the results. I was satisfied. I don't know, Jelena, if you get the chance to look through those, but I felt they all make very well make sense. Yeah. So I think that's something I would like to share. And and we happen to have this AI presentation by Susan today, and I think it's a related topic. So, and yeah, and I also, the reason I'm using Gemini, it's kind of my understanding is that Gemini has a better integration in the entire Google's ecosystem. So I upload the PDF to their Google Drive. It was able to read it. And then I gave the YouTube link. It has that capability of doing everything. I'm sure ChatGPT will be able to do a similar job, but it's just like little nuance in here as well. So,
Wow.
Great use case. I love it.
Mhm. All right, any more comments or questions before we close the meeting? We have 1 minute left before official close of business. All right, well, with that, I thank everybody for your attendance. I look forward to our next meeting. Our next meeting will be the 10th of February. So we will get meeting rules. We'll get that agenda filled out ahead of time so that everybody can come prepared. Thank
I
you.
have one quick question,
Oh,
Karen.
okay. Yes.
How do you put the agenda? How do you put the agenda in chat?
What I do is I go to the agenda on our club website. I save it as a PDF. I say print, and when the print dialog comes up, instead of printing it on my printer, I save it as a PDF onto my computer. So then it's on my computer. It's in one of my computer folders. Then I would go to the chat in Zoom, and there's a little icon on the bottom of the chat in Zoom that says file, and I'll click on that. I can pull the file right over. Where at the
Oh,
bottom where it says message to everyone, you can pull a file
yeah.
folder straight over there, or you can click on the file folder icon and it will ask you which file you want.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, 7:30, everybody. Jelena, can you gavel us out?
I will now close this meeting. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. All right,
Thank
good night.
you. Good night.
Safe, stay warm.